everything's been set for today. The cars, the hideout, all that's been taken care of. I picked up a white Holden HD wagon and a red Datsun sedan yesterday. Here's all you need to know. I'll say it once, and I want you to pass it on to Charlie and Alf when they arrive. I don't want us to be seen together, all right?
I understand.
Good. At 6 o'clock, we met at Harry's, the pinball joint in Union Road near Station Street. The jewels is right on the corner. These 2 bags have got all you guys will need. You take the blue one, the others take the red one. Now, at 6:05, you go to the back of the shop down Shakespeare Lane. You'll come to a white gate in the fence. The key's in your bag. Lock the gate after you. You don't want strangers coming in. Put on your face stockings. They're in the bags. The iron bar, the wire, the snippers are in the other bag. Now go through to the second door, the green one. Make sure you cut the alarm wires. Then come through and meet me at the front of the shop at 6:15. Let me in, and I'll follow through with the rest. After that, all we've got to do is get used to being rich. All right? Got all that?
I understand.
Good. The others should be here any moment. There's Charlie now. I'll see you at 6:15.
G'day, Len. Alf's a bit late, so you can fill me in. I'll pass it on to him later.
Certainly, Charles. Well, Tom has arranged for the acquisition of appropriate automobiles for our post-operational journey. He's also selected a place of refuge that should guarantee a safe harbour after we've finished the assignment.
Oh, yeah?
Now, the brief is as follows. We assemble by drifting aimlessly into a gaudy amusement parlour in the vicinity of Union Road and approximate to Station Street. After that, we venture to the quarry, which is relatively adjacent. You take the rosy bag and I the sky one, and we regroup at the white portal in the rear fence. Once inside, we place the tanned hosiery upon our heads, and then, taking precautions to dismantle any electronic surveillance equipment, we proceed through the green entrance ready to greet Thomas. He will then assume command, and after that, all being well, our lives will be filled with naught but caviar and champagne. Oh, I forgot to mention, the rendezvous is 1800 precisely.
Yeah, that's great, Len. But what about the
no more, Charles. I see Alfred approaching, and we must remain separate. I'll leave it to you to convey all the relevant information.
Don't come back.
Say, Charlie, we halt to trot?
It's all off, Alfie.
What do you mean it's all off?
Yeah, apparently we're meeting at some joint near Station Street and then going to a quarry.
A quarry?
Yeah. Champagne and caviar, he reckons. Must be some turn. 1800's going to be there, he reckons.
That's the trouble with people today. No one wants to work. It's all play, 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 play. Champagne party in a quarry.
Well, that's one robbery that won't trouble the police. Hello, Noel Price with More of Words Fail Me. And as you saw in that sketch, Len, the second desperado, was quite clear about the arrangements his boss had given him. But when it came his turn to tell Charlie, he used a very different way of saying the same thing. So different that when it came Charlie's turn, well, you saw the result. Tom, the boss, used language that was explicit, precise and concrete. Len, however, used a flowery, abstract style which did little to give his audience a clear picture of the situation. This is something to keep in mind with your writing, for it's usually the case that writing which is clear and direct, which concentrates on the importance and meaning of its nouns, is a lot better than writing that's padded out with lots of adjectives. Another means of making your writing effective is to try and write as you talk, to try and capture the rhythm and tone of your own speech. Rhythm and tone are difficult things to define, but perhaps the following examples might give you an idea.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again to this year's final of the World Joke Contest, where in just a few moments' time the lucky winner will be announced. But before that, we have, of course, to hear the last joke from each of our 3 finalists. And let's begin with the man who's given us a tremendous number of laughs throughout this contest, popular race caller, Henry Biggins.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and here at Caulfield, it's a beautiful day for this time of the year. I do believe not a cloud in the sky. The crowd standing some distance from where I'm standing at the moment. Getting a little closer now, that's a good deal more comfortable. We're waiting for them all to be massed into the stalls for the commencement of the joke about the mother who couldn't get her son out of bed. We're just waiting for them. Some of them are little fractures up in the stands, and the joke will be away at any moment now. The gates are open and the joke is underway. The mother came into the bedroom one morning and she said to her son, "Oi," she said, "Oi, get out of bed, get out of bed, get out of bed." She said 3 times. He said, "No, I'm not getting out of bed and I'm not going to go to school." And he got back down and the grudder had pulled the blankets back up over his head again. An early sensation, she thought, and she went for the jugular. She said, "Why do you think you're not going to go to school? I'm not going to tolerate this at all. What's your possible reason?" Well, he said, "I got two reasons. I got a couple of reasons, two, one and two, and I'll give you the first one first." He said, "The first reason is that I hate school, and the second reason is that school hates me," and he went back down under the blankets again. Hello, she thought, all is lost, but she was equal to the task, and she came back and she said, "I got two reasons why you should go to school. I got two reasons why you should go to school. The first one is that you're 47, and the second one is that you're the headmaster."
Thank you, Henry. Wasn't that a great joke, everybody? And now let's have our second contestant up here, that lovely psychiatrist who's charmed us with her stylist sense of humor, Marion Keppel.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you to audience. I'm now going to tell you a joke about a psychiatrist and her patient. Don't worry if you don't like it all that much, or even if you don't like it at all. I want you just to be cheerful and confident, and above all, to be yourselves. If you don't want to laugh at the end of this joke, no one's going to blame you, so please don't feel guilty. And if you do want to laugh, then go right ahead and let that laughter all come out. After all, we're all individuals, and we must respect everybody's right to do what they feel is right. So settle back in your chairs or wherever it is you happen to be and just relax. All right, here we go. A patient came into a psychiatrist's room and said, "Doctor," for that is the name many psychiatrists are referred by, "Doctor, I think I'm going mad." "Goodness me," said the psychiatrist, "whatever makes you think that?" "Well," said the patient, "it's because I like meat pies." The psychiatrist took off her glasses, looked at her patient and said, "My dear young man, just because you like meat pies doesn't mean you're going mad. I like meat pies too." "Oh, really?" said the patient. "That does make me feel better. You must come round my place and see my collection. I've got hundreds of them at home."
What a delightful joke, everybody. Thank you, Marion, for once again giving us a super serve of your truly marvelous wit. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our third and final contestant in this World Joke Contest. That truly great storyteller, a great competitor, a big hand for auctioneer Harry Adams.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, good afternoon. What have we got in store for you? What have we got in store? I'll tell you, if you'll just wait a minute, just give me a minute. That's all I want, a minute. Just a precious little minute. Just give me a minute and I'll tell you. We've got a joke here. That's what we've got for you. We've got a joke. Not just any joke, but a real top-shelf joke. A really beautiful joke. It'll knock you out with this joke. This joke's the finest joke of all. It's a ripper. It's a beauty. It's a joke. Now, I don't want anyone talking. I want everyone keeping quiet. I want silence. No shifting or shuffling. All keep quiet in your chairs. Don't go mumbling or murmuring. Just keep perfectly still because I'm ready to tell a joke. Are you ready? Because I'm ready. All right, here we go. Now, a man was walking in the park. Not just any park, but a really beautiful park. Really fine park, really top park, and he comes across a penguin. That's right. It wasn't a walrus. It wasn't a giraffe. It was a penguin. And so he takes him along. He takes that penguin right along until he comes across a policeman. "Excuse me, Mr. Policeman. Excuse me," said the man, "but I found this penguin. I wonder, could you please tell me what to do?" "Of course," says the policeman. "Of course I'll tell you. In fact, I'll tell you right now. Take him along. Take that penguin right along. Take him to the zoo." Well, the very next day, the policeman's walking in the park, the very same park. When along the path comes a man, the very same man. He's still got the penguin. Excuse me, says the policeman, "but I thought I told you to take that penguin to the zoo." "Yes," replied the man. That was his reply. Yes, was his reply. "I took him to the zoo. Yesterday I took him to the zoo, and today we're going to the movies." Ha, 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 ha,
How about that, ladies and gentlemen? A really great joke from a really great guy. And we'll be back in just a moment with the judge's final decision on who has won this year's World Joke Contest. Don't go away.
And pity the poor judges. Well, quite obviously, each joke teller had a different style of speech, and although they provide an exaggerated example, the same holds true for all of us. If we can capture the rhythm and tone of our speech in our writing, then we end up with writing that's much more interesting for whoever's going to read it. In the same way, writing that emerges as a result of our own experience in life is also more effective. Here's an example of what we mean.
Thank you for your application for the job, Mari. Now tell me, have you ever worked in a creche before?
Well, not really, but I've always wanted to, you know. I just adore young children.
Well, the children we have at this creche, of course, are very young, from 6 months to 4 years.
Oh, that's marvellous. Kids are really cute at that age, aren't they?
So you've worked with little ones before then, Mary?
Oh, friends of mine, you know, several of them have kiddies under 4. I love them.
What, you've looked after them, have you?
Well, I've done quite a lot of babysitting. It helps pick up a bit of extra money.
Oh, yes, indeed. And this babysitting's taught you some of the problems of young children, has it?
Oh, I never have any problems. The kids just go off to sleep. They're as good as gold. No, I can honestly say I've never had any problems with young children.
Do you think you'd have any problems here, working with them full-time?
Oh, I'm sure I wouldn't. I believe that if I like them, they'll like me, and that's all there is to it. Oh, I expect there'll be a few small difficulties at first, but I'm sure I'll cope. As I say, I just find kids so adorable, I can't see how I'll miss.
All right then, Mary. Thanks for talking with us. We'll let you know our decision by mail.
Thank you very much. It's been my pleasure.
Could you send in the other applicant, please? She was certainly enthusiastic.
Take a seat. Harry, is it?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Tell me, Harry, have you ever worked in a creche before?
No, I haven't.
Any experience at all working with young children?
Well, I've got a 3-year-old sister, and then there's the twins. The twin brothers, that is. They're 18 months.
You help out occasionally?
All the time. Oh, until recently. Mum's remarried and doesn't have to work anymore, so she can look after them now.
And you still want to work with young children? Harry, you really must adore them.
Oh, well, I wouldn't say I adore them exactly.
No?
Well, I don't exactly adore having to change crappy nappies all day, or wiping half a ton of Heinz baby food off the floor every mealtime, and the fridge and the wall and anywhere else that's within throwing distance. And, you know, it's not a lot of fun having to wash them down every time they come in dirty from the backyard, especially with a mouthful of snails, or listening to them cry because they're teething or overtired or throwing a tantrum, and sometimes when they scribble Texticolour all over the stereo, it's a little bit hard to resist hanging them by the thumbnails from the Rotary clothesline.
But I'm sorry, I don't understand. If you don't like children, why did you apply for the job?
I didn't say I don't like them. You asked me if I adored them.
Quite right. Well, why are you interested in the job, then?
Well, kids can be a bit of a problem, as I've explained, you know, especially as they can't concentrate on anything for long. No matter what you give them to do, they get bored really easily and want to do something else. That's why I like them.
I don't follow you, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm a games freak, you see. I love inventing games. And little kids are really into all sorts of games. And, you know, as they find it difficult to concentrate and get bored very easily, it forces me to invent up new games all the time. You know, it's amazing what you can do with a few wooden blocks. You know, you can build houses with them. You can hide them. You can make animals out of them. You can teach kids to count by them. I even taught my little brothers to learn colours by them.
Well, how do you think you'd cope with 34 of them all at one time?
Well, all kids are different, aren't they? I mean, some are going to be more difficult than others. I suppose I'll just have to try harder with some of them.
All right then, Harry. Thanks for your time. Thanks for talking with us. We'll notify you soon.
OK, my pleasure.
Well, what do you think?
Oh, no doubt about it. Harry was most impressive.
Really?
Well, anyone who knows young children as well as he does and still wants to work with them is perfect for this creche.
Well, Harry's great virtue was that he sounded like he knew what he was talking about. He wasn't trying to pretend that looking after kids was a bed of roses. He was impressive because he could demonstrate quite specifically that he knew what the job would entail. When we write, one of our main tasks is to be convincing. To do that, we need to be conscious of what happens around us, to be keen observers of people, places and scenes. And using these things that we know to be true, our imaginations can select from them and work them into whatever it is that we write. The result will be something that sounds authentic because it's based on experience. It's for precisely this reason that care should be taken when using certain kinds of literary devices. Alliteration, or the use of words that begin with the same letter, is a case in point. Occasionally it can be effective, but it's also the sort of thing that can easily be done to death.
Good evening. As the premier person in the Progress Party, it is my pleasure to put forward for your perusal tonight our party's platform. And I participate in this particular practice, praying for your patience and pleading for your perseverance. For these are perplexing and precarious times, times of penny pinching, times of prejudice, and times of unproductive procrastination. These are times when prices are prohibitive, pensioners are paupers, primary producers are perishing, and the parish is plagued with picketers and protesters. We used to be a proud people, a profitable and progressive people. We pursued our points with purpose. We possessed a proper portion of life's pudding. To put the point plainly, our prospects were pleasurably plentiful. However, since the appearance of the present Premier and his party of pussyfooting pipsqueaks, the place has reached a parlous and pitiful plight. Their piecemeal policies have permeated this Parliament, opening up a Pandora's box of pestilence and pandemonium. Let us put these pettifoggers in their place. Let us push them out on their posteriors where they properly belong. I pause to punctuate. With your vote, I promise power for the people, profit for the producers, and privileges for the pensioners. With your vote, Tom Pax will provide for parents, pep up the performing arts, and promote public servants, perhaps. Oh, precious people, when you proceed to the polls and you have your pen poised over the paper, please put P for Pax. Remember, a P for Pax shows that you give a P for your country.
Well, the thing about his use of alliteration was that it gave his speech an air of falseness because he was obviously striving for an effect. In the same way, the use of rhyme can be equally unconvincing.
Good evening, ladies. You too, men. It's good to be here once again. The thrust of election is in the air, and I know you know that I really care. I care for kids. They can't grow up fools. That's why I promise a lot more schools. I care for adults and parents too. I care for law and the boys in blue. I care for defence, and with my own two lips I promise guns and planes and ships. I also care about inflation. I know it's the curse of this great nation. We've got plans. We'll grab it by the collar and force real value back into the dollar. We'll beat inflation with sound administration and good old Aussie determination. Believe me, we've got oil galore. Copper, zinc and iron ore. This country's rich. It's really wealthy. You can't tell me that that's not healthy. I've heard Tom Pax tell you today that you should vote the other way. Why change now when it's all so great? I wouldn't risk it. Not me, mate. Stick with me. Max Nerd's the name. I know how to play the game. I've been in power for 20 long years. I've led you people through joy and tears. Don't vote for Pax. He's a real nutter. He couldn't tell Marge from butter. Listen to me, and I'll give you the word. Vote for me and get a real nerd.
And I don't know whether either of them would get many votes. But obviously, such devices should be used sparingly and for a purpose. It's best to let real ideas and your own words do the work. The final point we'd like to make is to do with the structure of your writing. If you're writing some kind of story, you don't necessarily have to start at the beginning. Just as films use flashbacks and flash forwards, so you can experiment with time in your writing. Sometimes it can pay to start a story at the very end. As well, don't feel the need to cram in every possible detail. Tell only those bits that are really important to the story.
Hey, g'day, Jim. Wait till I tell you about last night. I just got home from school about 4, see? And my sister Judith was in her room, and the whole house was pretty quiet, you know?
Oh, yeah, what happened?
Well, my sister Judith came out of her room, and then we played Monopoly with Charlie from across the street. And Charlie got Mayfair, and Park Lane.
Oh, yeah, it sounds great, Carl, but look, I've got to get my things together or else I'll be late for the next period.
Yeah, sure, Jim. Right. Hey, Julie, I'll tell you about last night.
No, Carl, what happened?
Well, when I got home from school, I had a peanut butter and banana and Vegemite sandwich.
Yeah, geez, that's gross. Listen, I've got to hand this essay in before the next class. That's awful, Carl. Did you eat that sandwich, did you?
But that's not what happened. Something much more serious happened than that.
Oh, nothing much worse than that could happen to anyone. Peanut butter, banana and Vegemite. Yeah.
Hey, Andy.
Yeah?
Did I tell you about last night?
No, you didn't. Hey, but make it quick though, will you?
Yeah.
I got this science test to Savo.
Yeah, right, sure, Andy. Well, I got home from school about 4, see?
Oh, yeah?
And I had a sandwich and a glass of milk. Then Charlie came over and we played Monopoly with my sister.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Charlie got all these hotels.
Yeah.
And then my sister went to her room.
Yeah.
Dad came home. Mum was cooking the dinner. And Nan was brushing the dog in the lounge room.
Oh, come on, get on with it, will you, Carl?
Yeah, I was just getting to the interesting bit.
Oh, you sure you were? Look, I got this test to Savo. I'll catch up with your story later, eh?
Yeah. Okay, all right. I thought somebody would like to know how my sister won $1 million last night.
What happened?
What did she do?
She did tell us about it.
Well, I just got home from school about 4, see? Had a sandwich and stuff. And then we played Monopoly with Charlie from across the street. And Charlie got all these hotels. You know, he played like he owned the world. And pretty soon he did. My sister seemed to land on everything he owned. £50 he'd yell. And then, you owe me £100 he'd tell her. And then he bought Mayfair and Park Lane and put hotels on everything. And it all got too much for my sister. And she got really mad and had this big argument with Charlie and really chucked a mental. So Charlie decides to leave. And just as he's going out the door, his telegram arrives to my sister. And it's from this place in England she'd been to earlier this year. And it says she's won the soccer pools and it's worth over $1 million.
That's great. So you're all rich. What will you do, Carl?
Well, we're having a party this Saturday night and everyone's invited.
Oh, fantastic, mate. Oh, that's really good. Good on you, Carl. Shake hands, mate.
Oh, exciting.
And the story got there after all. Well, during this program, we've stressed such things as simplicity, the use of concrete language, reliance on your own experience, capturing the rhythm and tone of your voice, and being sparing in the use of such devices as rhyme and alliteration. In doing this, we're not trying to make a set of rules for everyone to follow. Obviously, there are as many different approaches to writing as there are writers. Still, we hope there's been something in all of this which might give you a few ideas.